I rejected a woman once. She started crying and threw her shoe at me and said,
"You wouldn't have a chance with me anyway."
I was just like, "Kay," and then a bunch of simps got all in my face like,
"Not cool, bro."
But then my older matured high school crush from 10 years ago arrived. She said that was very cool, bro, and we made love right there and everyone clapped. I remember in high school, all the girls on the basketball team and softball team all became gay at the same time. Was that the day you asked all of them out at once? Which was odd because I was regularly sleeping with 2 of them and hooked up with however many more at parties. No, it's true. It's so true. Look, his profile picture has a football helmet on. That means he was definitely that kind of person. Had you asked them then, they were total lesbians, even though they clearly loved duck. Wow, bro, what a crazy revelation about teens and young adults in that stage of life. It's almost as if people are still discovering themselves at that point in life? Wow, what a crazy theory. Because as we all know, the thoughts, beliefs, and ideals you have at 17 are what you have forever in your life, and they never will change. Meanwhile, in recruiting hell, manager kept farting during interview. I recently had a job interview after sending out 300 plus apples. I sent out 300 plus apples. No, 300 plus applications. I got an interview for an administrative health science data analyst position. The manager informed me at the beginning of the interview that he was feeling gassy. I wasn't sure what he meant, but I continued with the interview. About 7 minutes in, he lets out a loud fart. It cut me off mid-sentence, but I stayed cool and kept talking. A few seconds later, he let out another stinky fart, and it really threw me off this time. I told him to stop farting, or I would stop the interview, because I felt like it was really unprofessional, but he just kept farting repeatedly. I finished the interview, but now I'm unsure if I should even pursue the job because I felt like he was being disrespectful. Should I still accept an offer if they give it to me, or should I reject? How do I proceed? I felt like his behavior was really disrespectful and unprofessional. Edit to add, the manager was my 5-year-old cousin and we were playing pretend. So far, things are going great with the 7 guys. Bay 1.
Just me and you, bae.
Bay 2.
Oh, it's just you, baby.
Bay 3.
I only want to be with, well, it's just you. Ooh.
Bay 4.
Yes, bae, you're the only one. Oh.
Bay 5.
Oh, you're the only.
You just know guys will comment things like,
"This is why you can't trust women."
as if it isn't true that practically any guy who has this sort of opportunity for himself would not do the exact same thing. That said, these come across that she's established an actual relationship with these people and not just casually dating, so I wouldn't really want to defend this too quickly. I remember when I used the bus to get to and from work. I noticed it was always the same group every morning. I silently assigned nicknames to everyone. Workout girl, gym bag, hoodie man, Burnside ladies, etc. I was out on medical leave for 5 weeks, and on my first day back to work, I got on the bus, and the bus driver scolded me for not telling him I was going to be gone. He told me for 3 days he waited an extra 5 minutes in case I was running late. Oh! No way, they wouldn't have said it like that. Would have been, hang on. Oh! Yeah, that's it. You waited for me?
Yes, I did. Jesus Christ.
That's so sweet of you.
Okay.
As I was walking to my unassigned designated seat, I hear the others muttering, "Hey, early girl is back." What uninspiring nicknames, though. Come on, you gotta add a bit more flair, some character to them. Early girl? That's boring. Be inspired. Call them the worm catcher.
Because it's like the early bird gets the worm, so early girl, she gets the worm. Yeah, she needs some sort of medication. Yeah, she's got the worms.
On my son's first birthday, I took him to the orphanage. Leonardo got nothing on me on how quickly I turn around my loved ones. I'm so against subscribing, I don't even keep my baby for more than 12 months. Anyway, I donated money and boxes full of groceries. I cut the cake with the kids and distributed chocolates, cakes, and stationery items. And time for the cliche comment,
The joy in their faces was priceless.
The way they sang for my kid and danced, and on the second year again, I did the same for his second birthday too. We'll continue the same. I know people have their own ways of celebrating happiness, but I believe when God provides you, it's your duty to provide the one who doesn't have. But only if you could talk about it on social media for clout. Anyway, thank you for reading my reminder as to why I think I'm better than all of you, because your ways aren't as good and godful as mine. My high school had such a large population of emos that when My Chemical Romance broke up, they announced it via the PA and offered extra counseling that day. Even if that was true, I can only imagine the crisis alert across the nation if Taylor Swift retired.
Back to recruiting hell.
I'm the guy who got rejected for having a cow picture on my wall. Hey, so about a month or so ago, I posted here saying I was rejected for having a cow picture in my background, and I had a little update in it that said I had another interview that day at a private school. Either a genuine true story or someone getting a lot of clout for their fake story and now trying to double down to see what else they can dip their fingers into for clout. Well, I got the job and have been here for 2 weeks. Now the bad news. No one has been paid! Not the teachers, not the support staff, no one! Our payday was yesterday, and we were told they were switching banks and the wire transfer hadn't cleared yet, and to expect payment today. Well, nope, haven't been paid. Now they are pushing back to the end of the day and possibly next week, which Monday is a holiday here, so it probably won't be until Tuesday. Like, what the hell is going on? 2 of the custodians haven't been paid in a month. One teacher walked out last week in the middle of a meeting. A few weeks ago, I was being nosy and eavesdropping on a conversation between the superintendent and all the operating staff. I heard, "We lost a sponsor and teachers are voicing concerns." And also heard, "What are we going to do?" Like I've worked over 40 hours. I provided a service and they need to provide compensation. Sorry for this. I'm just peed off and wanting to rant. This sucks so much. All right, I'm going to need people in the comments here with some actual experience in the teacher educational field. If there's any, is there any little discrepancies here? I feel like the last thing when losing a sponsorship that the school is going to avoid paying for is people's salaries. It's also kind of weird that you'd be asking us what the hell is going on and are confused by how delaying they are with the payments, and yet you somehow know the answer because you overheard it. Like, did you change your mind halfway through when telling us the events that suddenly you were like, oh, actually, you know what? I know what's happening because I want the bed to be a bit more tea. Oh, hey, you know, it's been a while since we talked about some sort of defecation on this video. Let's get back to it. My tattoo artist pooped his pants during session. Why is that always the go-to with these kind of stories? I mean, humans vomit, humans burp, humans sneeze over each other sometimes. Like, there are so many other disgusting parts of the human body's waste system, but you always resort to the feces. The majority of Reddit loves my stories, with a few who live boring lives and don't believe anything ever happens. Here's another pointless story people probably won't believe. Well, I can already trust you from that dialogue. I was getting my first big tattoo done on my arm when I started to feel lightheaded and sick. I told my tattoo artist and he stopped inking immediately, sat my chair back, got me water and glucose tablets, etc. While I was recovering, he asked, "Is it okay if I go to the bathroom real quick?" I was like, yeah, sure, buddy. It's gonna take me a while to recover anyway. Well, he was in there for a while. When he finally came back, when he was wearing different pants, he started inking me again, and I don't know why he decided to confess this to me, but he said, "I just want you to know, while you were recovering, I thought I had to fart. It wasn't a fart. I just pooped my pants." My tattoo came out beautifully, so I'm gonna need anyone to help me here. Do you have anyone, to any degree of closeness to you, that you would admit to them that you have defecated in their vicinity? I mean, OP is their client, too. This is someone they want them to return to as a customer. I got fired. So, my company is downsizing and everyone is scared of getting laid off and change. Lots of rumors and negative of talk going on, so my boss called a meeting. She was sadly hysterical and showing her emotions on people talking about the issues, and told everyone they should keep their opinions and thoughts to themselves and quit spreading rumors and negative information. In my best Soviet accent, I paraphrase quoted the Communist Party member on Chernobyl. When the people ask questions that are not in their own best interest, they should simply be told to keep their minds on the... I can't do two accents at the same time. They should simply be told to keep their minds on their labor and leave matters of the state to the state. To say she wasn't pleased, her boss wasn't pleased, I didn't care or show remorse, cause I already have a thing lined up. Just give me a little time to pack before my next job. My first time getting fired, and it was kind of beautiful. Hey, well, what is the big deal if some random dude peeks at your dick? It just comes out of left field. I really don't get this. Who is weirder? The curious dude taking the gander, or the one complaining about what, the frickin' privacy? Yeah, what a loser. If you pull it out in public, expect to have it seen. Okay, wait, hang on. Okay, wait, what's the context here? I'm gonna feel really awkward if I'm defending a flasher. Okay, some research later, this is about public saunas, specifically in South Korea. As they say, on a separate note, at Jimjilbang, I've seen a lot more intense stares. Jimjilbang is public saunas in South Korea. Once at a Jimjilbang near Exit 5 in Gangnam, I got applauds when I dropped spits.
Oh, that's so small.
Not sure what was the reason though. At the time, I was in peak shape ever. Good lean muscles, 4-pack, etc. So they may have wanted to say, good shape, dude. They were very passionate about it too. They were pointing at me and to the exit at the same time. I don't know why, but I couldn't understand their language, but they were clearly really excited about me. If there's any consolation to basically going broke in Vegas, I head down to get food in Paris, and right by the pizza place, there's this 40-something hot blonde, and she says hello and starts a conversation with me, and I'm thinking, oh boy, another working girl drumming up business. I tell her I'm gonna go play poker, and she says, why don't I come to her room and get naked and flip her brains out? And I say how much, and she goes, I'm not an escort, I'm a porn star, and I'm horny and you're cute. I'm just hitting on you. On him. There's him. I don't want to body shame or, be the judgmental type on physical appearance, but when you're making this kind of claim, come on. Sometimes we need to be in reality, and sometimes shaming is healthy for us who need it. Oh, good thing Southwest allows last-minute flight changes. Oh, there it is. It was an ad. It was an ad this entire time. Curse you, Southwest Airlines. You've caught us again. I lost my phone over 8 months ago and have no idea what happened to it. It literally vanished. Today, I book an Uber, and my Uber driver goes, oh, hold on, I have something for you, and hands me my lost phone. He said he held onto it in case by chance he picked me up again. Didn't just contact you or drop it off to the police station or something? So many other more convenient ways to have done this. My ex's 13-year-old sister invited me to Thanksgiving dinner, and y'all better bet I'm going. My dad.
There is no way in hell you are going.
Me. If you think anything you say is going to keep me from my ex's aunt's apple pie, you are severely mistaken.
The plot thickens.
My ex isn't even going to be there. Deadass, they replaced him with me. I'm sorry, but I can't see how this is a lie. I understand. It's apple pie. You could never lie about apple pie like this. Grabbing meds and soup, and I noticed this little girl begging her mom for this, but her mom said she couldn't afford it. They didn't see me. Well, with how my parents raised me and gave me a second chance at life, I can't help but love paying it forward. So I got it for her without them knowing. They left the store. I had a huge smile on my face, stoked to surprise them. Well, I caught up to them and gave it to her. She opened the bag. She had a smile so big, she cried. Her mom cried. Then I cried. She said no one has ever done anything like that for her or her family ever, that she's been going through a tough time. Why do these kind of fake stories always do 3 dots every time? Her daughter has some form of child cancer. Child cancer? Ah, yes, cancer, found commonly in the child region of the body. That the lump was growing because this little girl was so beautiful. Wait, what? So if they just force the child to grow pimples, the cancer will subside? Mum asked how much for the stuffed animal butt pack. Oh, my brain. Oh, it's dying. Mum asked how much for the stuffed animal backpack. Jack, your brain, come on, use it, mate. I said, absolutely nothing, and that the smiles they had on their faces were payback enough. It doesn't take much to be a good person. My payback were those smiles that will be embedded in my soul forever. For me, that is the best type of repayment, because it gives me leverage for when I be a-holes to those I genuinely hate. I'm not a bad person because I do good things. It's not my fault that I just specifically like to make your life miserable. Also, I love how they round this up like as if it's some sort of daily motivational quote. If I've inspired you with any of the posts I posted, etc., etc. What do you want us to do? Like and subscribe? Hypothetically, on a packed bus, you stand to offer your seat to an elder, but before they can sit, someone else takes it. What's your move? I'm a dog, and I had that happen. I got up to let an elderly gentleman sit. A young punk took the seat. I told him the seat was not for him. He told me to frick off. The driver, overhearing this, stopped the bus. The punk was told to get off or be put off. He started to speak, but I told him if he didn't get off the bus, I would remove him. I was not in a good mood. I guess I had that look on my face. The older fellow was laughing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, bus drivers absolutely get paid to deal with that. Meanwhile, in recruiting hell again. Recruiter told hiring manager not to hire my wife. Recruiter told hiring manager he couldn't hire my wife because she was unqualified and he preferred a different candidate. The hiring manager said,
Tough luck. I'm the HM. It's my decision.
HM drafted offer letter anyway, and recruiter protested the hourly pay amount, demanding he lower it. Had to get director over recruiting into his office to stop the madness. The recruiter communicated all this via emails, which kept forwarding to my wife, so she'd be in the loop and know what was taking so long in the hiring process. Best hiring manager ever. Edit, I'm not the hiring manager. I quoted the hiring manager. I edited post for clarity. Yeah. I was at the doctor's because of suspected appendicitis, and the doctor was going through my medication list and said, why are you taking testosterone? I said, because I was prescribed by a doctor. She said, why? Your levels are normal. I said, my levels are normal according to your testing measurements, but I feel great, and it's changed my life for the better having a higher range number. The doctor rolled her eyes. She said she can't believe doctors prescribe testosterone and that it could be a contributing factor to my appendicitis. End rant. r/ThatHappened. Did the nurses clap? It's both funny and sad there are people like this, like the insecurity and desperation to go more beyond, completely ignoring the mass amount of studies proving that taking and abusing steroids is terrible for your health. I'm not just talking about the smaller balls or the roid rage stuff, like literal organ failure. Just wait and see what happens to all those under 25-year-old fitness influencers that are clearly not natural. Well, wait to see how they are in their 40s. Okay, so holy hell, I snap my fingers like a lot, and I snap them really good and loud. And this lady, the next aisle over, replied as soon as I snapped,
I'm your good girl.
and her husband said,
That wasn't me, babe.
I am dead. Well, rest in peace. Yuck, shut up and enjoy it. Customer. What? Sorry, talking to myself. Customer. I need to talk to myself like that. And then he said it and strutted out. Rock on, King. What the hell is even happening in this post? Why are females expected to wear the most tight, fit, revealing clothing? I'm 15, I'm female 18, nailed it. I went out yesterday to buy some clothes, and when I was checking out, some lady behind me said, she probably bought a bunch of BS that won't even fit her properly. Just because I was wearing an oversized hoodie. Not like other girls. Even in high school, I got bullied for wearing loose clothing, and by the end of the year, someone said,
That's what she gets for leaving too much to the imagination.
Look, 18-year-old female, I'd be inclined to believe this if the language you overheard didn't sound like it came from an anime. I was at Sports Clips one time. little dude crying because he was having his head shaved. I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I grew up affected by cancer. No way, you had cancer? No, my great-grandmother had breast cancer. Grandmother the same. My mom had cancer that spread, but she is in remissions now.
So you didn't have cancer?
So I said to the girl cutting my hair, shave my head. As we are almost done, she goes,
What? Are you serious?
and then she looked over and saw, and goes, I got you, sweetheart.
She shaved my head. The kid saw me getting my head shaved, and I played it off like, oh yeah, I always cut my hair this way. It's so cool to do and looks really good. Plus, you can use Expo marker on it and wipe it off for fun. He laughed. I walked out and cried. I am a 25-year-old young man. I would have traded places with that boy. A child shouldn't have to go through that. Now let me quickly switch my account so I can give myself emoji comment and also say that I agree with myself. Yes.
My best friend's 12-year-old son had asked me what political party I was a part of. I said, Republican. He said, oh my god, me too. Republicans are lit. They like lower taxes and less government power.
Does this woman write PSAs for kids?
I offered him some vape and he said, well, miss, I'm not into the devil's mist. The only thing I'm inhaling is God's love and oxygen.
Maybe kids are waking up. Maybe you're just getting very imaginative. In r/petty revenge. Teacher gives us the middle finger and tells us to frick off. Ends up crying in a meeting with the principal and headmaster. So this happened a really long time ago. Like when I was still 7 or so. When I was still in primary school, me and a classmate were talking during lunch break. We spoke for a bit and didn't realize class was starting again. Our teacher walked over to us, hunching over and told us,
if you don't want to be here, you can frick off.
while giving us the middle finger for a solid 10 seconds or so before heading back to the front of the classroom. Now, I know that me and my classmate should have noticed that the lunch break was ending, but 7-year-old me knew that the frick off and middle finger were bad things to do.
Whoa, you were so insightful for a 7-year-old. Wow. I could have left it there and went on with my day. But young old me decided to tell my parents. What the hell is a young old me? I'm not 100% sure if it was my parents or if it was the parents from my classmates around us who told the other parents. But this story about a teacher flipping a kid off quickly spread to other parents and quickly reached to the headmaster of the school and principal.
And they all clapped, yeah, their booty cheeks, cause it was a surprised flash mob twerk class.
When I was 9, I accidentally farted in class, and I didn't want anyone to notice, so I acted like I was turning to a werewolf and started howling and peed on the floor, but my teacher called the ambulance and they sent me to a mental hospital. I wouldn't lie. I wish. I truly wish this did happen. This is great. Ooh, time for a proud parent.
So proud of my youngest. She was in line for lunch at school today. It was French toast sticks and sausage.
The boy in front of her said no to the sausage, and she called him a communist. She's in kindergarten. Hashtag proud parent. Wait, that's it? Where did this lead? Well, why did she call them a communist? Why were they a communist? Once in kindergarten, a girl asked me to write Supergirl on her arm since I was the only kid who could write. So I wrote Schmidt on her arm and I hid under the table for like 30 minutes. Then the teacher found me and yelled at me, then called my parents, and my dad laughed so hard he cried. Anyway, kids, that's how I met your mother. I'm waiting in line at the Chipotle, and the lady in front of me was scrolling through Facebook, and I was being a little nosy. So I was looking over her shoulder, and she literally scrolled past one of my posts. And then she scrolled back up to read it, and then she heart reacted to it, and I was a little excited. So I was like, thanks for heart reacting my posts. And she was like, that's you? And I said, yes, that post went viral. So it's not a shock that it ended up on your feed. And she was like, oh, no, she wasn't. I'm not surprised either. You're speaking facts. And now her and I are friends. Last night, my cis-hetero 6'1" white son, is it so necessary to define those things, called me as he was walking home from practice to tell me how it went. Partway through, he said, this is a really nice walk home. I'm glad I have the privilege to take it at night and not worry about my safety. I reminded him that it's not enough to recognize his privilege. He also needs to make sure he isn't making women uncomfortable. I love this. Oh, son, that's a sweet, unrelated comment to what you were talking
talking about in the first place, but if I can just interject, you're not doing good enough anyway. He said,
I know, Mom. I always cross to the other side.
that recognition of privilege and safety took 30 seconds. I was in the elevator coming off a rough shift, and an older couple got in with me. The man said that I was brave to wear my pride pin because we don't tolerate your kind around here. And I was like, you don't tolerate doctors? Sir, are you aware that you're in a hospital? They always end it right after making their comment, as if they're in some sort of movie where we just change the scene the moment they've said something.
Y'all, my son woke me out of my sleep crying and said,
Mommy, I know you're tired of working, trying to make it better for me and my sister. I'll go to work for you today.
This made me cry. He's only one. Get out of here. No. I guarantee behind that emoji, that kid is confused and a bit upset. Before I got off the plane at Munich, I asked the air steward if I could have a word with the pilot.
yeah, sure. He gave me a knowing smile and took me to the cockpit. Here's the conversation.
And now to delve into the mind of this person's fanfiction. Me, flying over the distance we've flown, at the speed we've flown at, as the pilot, you'd have had to dip the nose of the plane at regular intervals to allow for the curvature of the Earth. Do you do that, pilot?
No.
I don't. So you just fly straight? No nose dipping at all?
Correct.
So does that mean you're flying over a flat surface then?
Yes.
So there's no curvature?
No curvature.
So if there's no curvature, that means Earth is not a sphere.
Correct. It's flat.
Knowing smiles all around. Man, I wonder what gravity is, you know? Or the fact that the reason they don't dip is because the Earth is just that big. Is that the road Crybaby Bridge is on? It's been at least 45 years since I've been out there, but I believe that is where Crybaby Bridge is at.
When my daughter was in junior high and high school, the kids liked to go out there. A few parents got together, and we got under the bridge one night, and we knew they were coming. We had bought baby dolls at Goodwill. We had baby powder and squeezed the bottles when they were standing on the bridge and started throwing doll parts at them. We had people in the woods that were running chainsaws too. It was quite comical. I don't think they ever asked to go back. We had a smoke machine too that we turned on when they got there. It scared the poop out of them.
Interesting. Did one of them grow up to be a tattoo artist?
Stop narking! I brought a watering can to dinner tonight because a friend had given it to me earlier. As I was leaving the restaurant, a woman told a waiter, "She's stealing your watering can!" And then I had to be like, "This is actually mine," which is embarrassing for no reason.
I remember this one time a woman told security guards at a library that my mom has snuck some books in my clothes. I was 5. They made us step into a tiny room and strip down to check. That was embarrassing, and we never returned to that library again.
What kind of books was your library renting out that required them to take your clothes off to see them on you? Seriously, what were you stealing? Paper clippings?
Picked out a cake at Maisha, asked bakery-looking employee if she could write on it for me.
She said she would, and after a long time, she came and presented me with this cake. I looked her in the eye and said thank you before I even looked at the cake. After looking, I nervously laughed and headed to check out. It didn't really matter to me that it looked so bad. I thought people would think it was funny. The cashiers at the self-checkout didn't think it was so funny though, and all called a few more cashiers and a manager over to look, even taking pictures. Yeah, that's totally what a cashier would do at the checkout. Delay the whole line of people wanting to get their stuff checked out. Oh, totally. To my surprise, after they discussed it, one cashier put her arm on my shoulder and said, "The girl who wrote that has autism. Thank you for smiling and thanking her. Even though she's not supposed to write on cakes, you probably made her day." So I guess the moral of this story is that kindness is important. Wow, really? Wow, what my mind blown. Thanks, Darman. You've just changed the world. My son is deaf, and I am hearing. When standing on a line in a grocery store, my son and I will have a conversation in sign language. The lady behind me didn't know I was hearing, and she said to the man with her, "Oh, what a waste. They are deaf." I quickly turned around and gave her my unfiltered opinion on her remark. Let's not just say that. No, none of the rest happened. Let's just say... No, it didn't. No, we're not going to say it because it didn't happen. Fine. Let's just say she left her shopping cart and walked out. The store employees applauded me.
Stop it!
I was telling my 7-year-old daughter a story about her brother when he was little, and she said,
I was just a ghost soul then, trying to find you. I'm glad I did.
I cried and reached for her hand. She patted and pushed it away.
There, pull yourself together.
Sweet and savage.
I hope to imagine that's her petty revenge for you saying the same to her.
The first one happened to me. When I took my English proficiency exam, I was so nervous that I answered the first 2 questions in Spanish. The funny part is, I don't even speak Spanish.
Wow, that's incredible. I myself can't speak bullshit, but I can seemingly read everything you're saying. It's 84 degrees out, and I see a dog sitting in a car with the windows completely shut and the engine off, and the dog was heavily panting. So I decided to stand outside of the strangest car for about 10 to 15 minutes until the person came back, and 30 minutes go by, and they still haven't came back. So I checked to see if the door was unlocked, which it was, and so I opened the door to let the dog get fresh air, and then this guy and his girlfriend finally come back. And the guy started yelling at me. So I told him, you know it's animal abuse leaving a dog in a vehicle on a summer day with the windows shut, right? And he was like,
I don't care.
And I was like, well, you should. You're literally abusing your dog. And he was like,
What are you gonna do about it?
and I was like, nothing. And I skipped away. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. I told him, just be a better human being. And he was like,
Get lost, Charles Manson.
what the hell is this?
So I looked at his girlfriend and I asked if she wanted to be one of my followers. Because Charles Manson had a cult following. Get it? Get it? Oh, and she smirked at me, and her boyfriend saw that and started yelling at her and shoved her in the car. And I was like, you're also abusive to her as well? And then I signaled for her to roll her window down, and I told her,
Hey, search Sean Matarosa on Facebook and add me so I can steal you from him and treat you right.
and she definitely smiled again. Yeah, she did. If you ever find me and see this, you deserve so much better than that. LOSER.